says State of the Union live updates. Trump adds reality show flourishes to State of the Union address. We want to get your reaction now. Rebecca in La Mesa, California. What did you think of the president's speech and or the Democratic response?
Hi there. Good evening. Actually, I thought it was really funny that you just said that the New York Times described it as being a reality show-esque. I thought the same thing. I thought it was great that, I don't remember her name, but that military serviceman was able to, return to his family. That was a surprise, but that I honestly thought what was going to be next might be someone who's going to get a rose as well. But overall, it was very campaigny. I kind of thought it was a whole lot of just schmaltz and, self-aggrandulation.
All right. Anything in there that you agreed with?
I suppose I like Juan Guaido, the statement that he made in regards to Venezuela and overall trying to be in solidarity with them. But even having Juan Guaido there as well was a little show-offy, a little showboat.
And in fact, prior to the speech, it had said that the former police chief of Caracas was going to be there, and it turned out to be Mr. Guaido. Randy, Oklahoma City. Hi, what'd you think?
I loved it. Our president is a good president, and he's doing a lot of good things.
But what is one of those things?
We need a bipartisan House, and the actions of the Democrats just sitting there and Nancy Pelosi tearing up the manuscript was appalling.
Washington Post, this is their immediate reaction to it. Trump touts jobs, immigration policies, and foreign relations. Charles in Anniston, Alabama, what's your reaction?
Well, I put it this way. I've been a Democrat for 70-something years. And what I've seen tonight was appalling to me and the gentleman before you. I think it was very disrespectful for this president. I didn't vote for him, and sometimes I don't agree with his policies. But that man is the president, and we should respect him. And what I've seen tonight of the Democrat Party, I am changing my mind. I mean, I'll probably still be a Democrat. But as far as I'm electing for a goddamn Democrat, never again. I'll probably stay home. And I am very embarrassed being a goddamn Democrat for what they did in the House over there today with Pelosi and the rest of them sitting like a bunch of dadgum damn idiots sitting there. And that is my thing about what I think about it. Now, there's 17,000 families in this country of our family name that we all probably get together again, and we probably will boycott the Democrat Party. And that's what I have to say about it. And I want you to know exactly how I feel. Thank you, and I'm fixing to hang up on you. Bye.
Trent is in Monroe, Louisiana. Hi, Trent.
Hey, just to give a philosophical thought to all this, I think the major media has tried to make Donald Trump out to be a shallow entertainer, and those of us out here who love him as uneducated lovers of shallow entertainment. But I think the reality is that there are deep things in Donald Trump that he can't even quite express, that are deep, deep things in the masses of people out here that he's connected with. And I think what we've got going on here is a little reversal of the Bob Dylan song in the 60s is there's something going on here, and you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Liberal?
So, Trent, what is that, what you call deep, deep connection to you? Where do you connect with him?
I think there's a wrestling for an understanding that the Christian nation that we are is got tons of truth that the media and the cable networks and even C-SPAN won't allow us to talk about. And with that gap, that's where the real, if there's just a thin gap between us getting to say what we really believe and a paradigm shift happening in this country. And then for the ruling class and the managerial elite, brother, the party is over for those who control the truth narrative.
Darla in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. What'd you think of Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech at the end? Darla, you with us?
Yes, I'm still here, and I thought it was disgusting. As I sat here tonight and watched the whole speech, it was odd just to watch the State of the Union address and watch my president give the speech on everything great that's happening in our country, but yet Nancy Pelosi and the others who were dressed in white, I might add, just sitting over there, never standing, never clapping for anything that might be good for the country. I don't understand it. I used to be a Democrat, but I am no longer a Democrat. I will
Oops, I am so sorry I cut you off. Kathleen in Placerville, California, good evening to you. What's your reaction to the speech?
I agree wholeheartedly with the other callers. I am a Democrat as well, but no longer will I vote Democrat. I think it's outrageous that they sat there when all these good things are happening to our country and how much we love our country, and they looked like they hated our country. And Nancy Pelosi, the whole time she's sitting up there with a disgusting look on her face, it's outrageous. I will never vote Democrat again, and I'm sick of it, and my whole family feels the same way. My husband, my friends are sitting here, all former Democrats. We all voted for Hillary last time, and therefore never, ever will we ever vote Democrat again.
Now, Kathleen, this is not the first time that half the House essentially has sat on their hands during a presidential speech. This happened during President Obama, President Bush, President Clinton. What makes this year different?
When I see them sitting out there and their protest against the president, but it's not just a protest against the president, it's a protest against everything good that this country was founded on and how much we love our country. And, it's always portrayed that the Democrats don't love their country. Well, we love our country, and we want to see it succeed. But it appears to us that our Democratic Party has been stolen from us by a bunch of communists, and no longer will our family ever vote Democrat again.
Wall Street Journal headline, Trump avoided impeachment. In speech, he spoke for about an hour, 15 minutes, and then was interrupted by applause on top of that. Joy, Kelso, Washington, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Joy, what's your reaction to the president's speech?
I am literally disgusted with Pelosi and the Democrats' behavior, the way she teared up his speech behind him at the end. I was a registered Democrat. I've gone independent. I'm leaning GOP now. I love Trump's policies. He's making our country and the world better. Our children are our future, and it's time to take back our families and keep the government out of our families, and that is what Trump is doing.
Joy, did you get the feeling that both he and Governor Whitmer were speaking to their respective bases, or did you get a feeling that both were reaching across the aisle?
Trump was speaking to everyone. He always does. He might not be all the best person to speak, and he takes, a lot of his tweets sometimes too far. But this is a man that is trying to keep our country, and not give it away.
Hi, New Orleans. Good evening.
Hi, I'm a registered Republican, and I want to touch base on one thing. I kind of understand where the Democrats didn't applaud when the president did speak, because we did the same thing with Obama. But I just want to say, I am a minority. I just want to say that everyone makes the president out to be a racist, and I don't think he's a racist. But I want to let a lot of people know that there are groups like us, minorities, that support President Trump. You can go to our Twitter page. We help raise money to go out to battleground space, and we're trying to help the president, make America greater than ever before. So there are minorities who do support the president, who do appreciate the America First policy, instead of helping minority with better job offers and stuff like that. I'm a doctor. I was able to hire more people out of college, give them a better pay rate under this administration. And like I say, we are, we started a group, a grassroots group that's going out to, to show the America that the minority does support President Trump.
Kai, what's your Twitter page? What's it called?
It's minorities that support President Trump.
Can you name one policy that you support?
I support his tax cuts that and his small business policy that allow us to be able to get tax cuts to hire more people. And a lot of people making it seem like, oh, the stock market is doing great, but it don't affect every day. But when you have high corporations who are able to pass on the savings, yes, I do support the president, his policies, his tax cuts, and also his small businesses policies.
As a doctor, what's your position on Medicare for all?
I think it would bankrupt our country. There's no way to really pay for Medicare for all, but I do support everyone chipping in and helping out.
And what kind of medicine do you practice?
Orthopedic.
Thank you, sir. Dalton, Daphne, Alabama. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dalton from Alabama, and I just wanted to say I enjoyed his speech. I am legally blind and have brain damage, and I enjoyed where he was talking about the adults, or where he was talking about people with disabilities that have jobs. I have a job myself, and I wish more people in the government would at least acknowledge people with disabilities.
The length of the speech, 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 7 seconds. If you go to C-SPAN's Twitter feed, you'll find some analysis on there. Next up is John in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Hi, John.
Good evening. I listened to the State of the Union and the Democratic response. They were both, in my opinion, a little bit of kabuki theater, pandering to the base. But as a libertarian, I was greatly amused by the opening example from the Democrat response, where the young man in Michigan was filling potholes because the government wasn't doing it. And the governor was implying that it's the job of the federal government to fix roads. It's not the job of the federal government. And the Democrats are pushing for more of a centralized, top-down administration, where it's been proven time and time again, the bigger that an organization gets, the less responsive it is to the needs of the people. We need to get back to the local issues handled by local governments, state issues by state governments, and the federal government making sure that the states treat each other fairly and they deal with the foreign governments.
Thank you, sir. Washington Times, their headline, Trump tells Americans he stopped downsizing of America's destiny in the State of the Union. And from Twitter, Mike Bloomberg, Trump's wall won't fix our broken immigration system, especially when the sections that Trump has managed to build are falling down. Americans don't want it, but Trump's ego demands it. Mike is calling in from Pennsylvania. Mike, what's your reaction to the speech or to Governor Whitmer's response?
I will say that with a simple rip of a paper, Nancy Pelosi has pretty much sealed the deal of a re-election of Donald Trump. When independent voters see that, watch the rest of the speech, the optics of her being so childish to rip the speech after the ending of the speech, right after the soldier is brought reunited with his family from Afghanistan. The optics of that are so horrible, so childish. It definitely plays to the base of the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome crowd. But when you have independent voters that listen to the end of that speech, see that whole segment, and her ripping pages, you have lost any independent voter that has been looking. Do I go with the person that's there, or do I take a chance on an unknown of the Democratic Party?
Mike, Nancy Pelosi has been around for a while and pretty experienced politician. What do you think her motive was?
I think her motive is to play to her base. That is, the base is already in. They are going to vote against Trump no matter what. You need to win the independent voters. Anyone who is on the fence, you take a look at that. That is so embarrassing that she would do that.
All right, thank you, sir. Finally, we want to show you Joe Biden's text. He sent it out at 10:08 p.m. Our administration, the Obama-Biden administration, brought the economy back from the brink of depression, saved the auto industry, and made health care available to millions of families. Donald Trump gave billionaires a tax break. Well, if you miss a speech and you're away from your phone or away from your TV or anything and you want to watch it again, go to cspan.org. It is available in its entirety, as is Governor Whitmer's response.